Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do a video for you lovely guys and gals. Well, let me get a sip of my water first. Get my radio voice going and let's talk about this. You know, I had someone ask in the comments because, again, I put up like a before and after screenshot of me at 300 pounds, and I was learning to walk again after being sick all that time. Of course, interestingly enough, there were clowns who were like, I don't think you're 300 pounds, when they can literally see my ex all the way out here leaned against my belly hugging me. And it's like, yeah, guys, just because I didn't have big biceps doesn't mean I wasn't 300 pounds. It's called being fat. All right. And for the record, that was the second time in my life that I had gotten obese. First time I was a teenager, late teens, and then I lost it. And then it happened again when I got sick. And then spent all that time in bed. I gained a ton of weight due to being sedentary, having a medical issue that caused me to be depressed and all that stuff. It's a bad combination. But I lost the weight, and now I have visible abs. I'm not crazy lean. I'm working on getting leaner. You know, and I had someone come in and say, man, I struggle with this. I struggle with weight loss. I struggle with keeping it off. What is your secret? Because we all know, what does statistics show? People don't have trouble losing weight. They don't have problems losing weight. No, it really isn't hard. The statistics show tons of Americans have lost 20 plus pounds or more. 95% of them regaining, right? Losing weight's not the hard part. It's keeping it off. And then especially if you have more to lose later and then you regain, which you only got part of the way there. So what are my tips? I'm going to give you guys some solid tips here. Someone who, again, I coach people, I've got clients who've lost 200 pounds. I'm going to be honest with you. Number one, you can't do fad diets. Quit doing dietary approaches that you can't at least sustain some semblance of long term. Like if you know it's not healthy and you realize there's problems with it and you're not going to be able to sustain it, it's not going to work. Because once you've lost the weight, then what's your strategy, right? It's like I've told people, if someone changed no habits, if you had someone who was morbidly obese, right? And let's say they had gotten up to 300 pounds and aliens or God or somebody just took 140 pounds off of them instantaneously, what would happen? They would eventually get back up to 300 pounds. They would go from 160. You give them enough time, they'll probably get back up close to 300 again. So, but even if those cells are gone, yeah, even if those fat cells are gone, they're going to regain it because they didn't change their lifestyle. So do you see the problem with a short-term intervention? And I'm not saying sometimes this isn't necessary. Medically speaking, anything that helps someone lose weight is probably going to save their life. But it's the sustainability of it. You're not going to stay on that drug. You're not going to stay on that crash diet. You're not going to do this long term. So you've got to have strategies in place. So that means changing your lifestyle. You have to make health and fitness part of your lifestyle, right? You need to be lifting weights. I'm going to say right on the top of the list, if you aren't lifting weights, this is not going to work. You are not going to keep it off. Your metabolic rate's going to get too low from all the muscle tissue loss. Lifting weights and having muscle will work wonders in letting you eat another 500, 700, 800 calories every single day while keeping the weight down. Okay, that's a lot of wiggle room. It's worth it. So, I mean, just gaining muscle, and I would say that's an enormous part of it. You're going to have to create a lifestyle because you have a high appetite. You don't become morbidly obese unless you are hungry, because slow metabolism doesn't cause it. That's a myth that's been debunked over and over and over. Less than 1%. Less than 1% of obese people is due to metabolism. That's just reality. Most overweight people have a fast metabolism. That's actually reality. So we eat more. Myself included. I like to eat. So you got to learn to stay full. You got to have a way to keep your metabolic rate high. And that means lifting weights, guys. You need to be lifting weights at least twice a week. I don't care what's going on in your life. You have to absolutely make it a habit, number one. Number two, keeping the weight off. You can't treat yourself the same way other people do. The flexible diet, you think, oh, eat 20% of your calories of whatever you want. That's for skinny people who've always been skinny, who want to get ripped. What it's not going to do is let you stay lean. You're going to need to eat clean. And here's what I'm going to say is central to that. Keep liquid calories low most of your life. Just look. If it's got calories in it and you drink it, probably just avoid it. You're going to be better off. All right. Number 2, keep your protein high. You will probably benefit from the satiety benefits, thermic effect, everything else of higher protein. Use it to your advantage. Keep protein high. So when we say you need 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight to maximize muscle growth, okay, that's true. Appetite suppression, metabolic benefits can still happen at higher amounts. That should be your bare minimum. If you've previously been overweight and you're trying to keep it off, man, keep that protein high. That's your baseline, and then you probably should consider going up from there. Okay. Number 2, fiber. You're going to need a lot of fiber in your diet. I don't care whether it's from vegetables, whole grains, fruits, combination. Keep your fiber high. Minimum, bare absolute minimum, 30 grams a day. Okay. And that's stuff that you are probably going to need to sustain year round. These are some of my big tips for people who need to keep the weight off. You're going to have to accept that. Number 1, the whole fad diet approach and working in treats regularly, not going to work. If you want to have a cheat meal once a week, fine. You can't do this flexible dieting thing. It will fail for the majority of you in my experience. Right? That's number 1. And avoid the fad diets thing. You're going to have to find something more sustainable. Right? Which means mostly whole foods. Number 2, you need to lift weights at least twice a week year round for the rest of your life. You need to keep your metabolic rate higher through focusing on gaining muscle mass, which is again where the protein comes in handy. All right, and we're up to protein. Keep the protein high. Minimum 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight. So for me, that's 150 grams. Minimum. People say, I struggle to eat that much protein. Well, if you struggle to eat that much protein, then you're going to struggle to overeat. Man, I get sick of eating chicken breast or protein shakes. Well, good, then you won't overeat. Make that your baseline. Probably your first meal every day should be really high in protein. Really high. 50 or more grams. Preferably more. Again, my advice. Number 4. Is it number 4? Whatever it is, man. It doesn't matter. We don't need to count. We make our own rules here. Call it number 4, because all that other stuff falls into the fad diet anyways, and junk food and all that crap. Number 4, fiber. Minimum 30 grams of fiber a day for the rest of your life. Eat your vegetables, people. They will help you. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.